age is just a number and you can be childish and silly in any age. Hello my loves, and thank you for joining me. It's Kirsten and today we are doing the Relax and Readathon, which if you don't know is a 24-hour readathon that I host bi-monthly, and the idea is to take one day for yourself just to rest and relax, but you might as well read while you're doing it. I will have the playlist linked below if you're interested in seeing any of the announcement videos and past readathons and things, but it's very chill. We do have a bingo board. You can try and get all of those bingo prompts. They're a mixture of some lifestyle and some reading prompts. You can combine the prompts, use the prompts, disregard the prompt as you see fit. As I say, the main goal is to relax and read and just have a nice chill self-care day. That is the point of it. So I hope you enjoy the video. I'm really looking forward to this because obviously it's a Halloween spooky season, so I want my reads to fit that spooky feeling. So fingers crossed we can do that. I do have my TBR that was set, but I am thinking about changing maybe one of the books potentially. We'll see how it goes, but let's just dive straight into what I meant to be reading, and then we'll go through the lifestyle prompts and just take it all from there. So the first prompt on the bingo board and the first bookish prompt is just read a book that's on your TBR, and I did choose Mislaid in Parts Half Known by Shauna Maguire, and I think this is potentially the book that I may end up changing because I do absolutely love this series. This is Part of the Way with Children series, the most recent book out. It's a long series, but all of the books are teeny tiny, except I'm not sure how spooky this one's gonna go. Some of them go really spooky, which I like the first one, Every Heart a Doorway, has a bit of like a murder mystery going on with it, so I really like that. They're all different portal fantasies, and it's kind of asking the question of what happened when Alice came back from Wonderland, and I really like it. I think it's a really fun concept. I really enjoy our different characters, but yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, potentially it could, like, I do actually really want to read this. I keep putting it off. Oh, maybe I'll just stick to the TBR. That will be a first in a while. I'm not very good at sticking to the TBRs, although last time I didn't do too bad. But yeah, anyway, this one is for read a book on my TBR. The next prompt is to continue a series or a book you're already in the middle of reading. I have actually used that quite a lot, the second part of that, continue a book you're already reading, 4 times when I've just completely disregarded the TBR, because technically if you started a book and you continue reading it, you're fulfilling the prompt because you're in the middle of that book. It's a really nice little loophole that I didn't realize that I'd given myself, but I had given myself, and it works really well. In this one I have gone for a manga though. I'm really loving this series, which is Promised Neverland. This is volume 5 and I definitely want to get to this. I am so excited to continue. This one is following a group of children at this orphanage. Everything seems absolutely amazing until they discover the very nefarious, dark, sinister things behind this orphanage. I'm loving this so much. I really want to get back into this. I think it's going to be fantastic. And the end of 4 I was heartbroken off. Really want to see what's going to happen next, because that I did not expect and I was so upset. So yeah, this is for that prompt. The next prompt is to read a book you've been wanting to read for a little while. Again, this is very ambiguous. A while could be I picked it up yesterday, so it's been something I've been wanting to read, or it could be a pre-order that you've been waiting for, or in this case it could be a book that's been on a previous readathon, the 24-hour readathon last year, and I didn't get around to it. This is the book I will definitely be reading for this readathon. This is the one I'm going to start off with, and that is The Haunting of Hill House by Shirley Jackson. I have had this on my TBR for absolutely ages and just not read it, and I have no excuse because it's less than 250 pages. This is not going to take that long to read, but I have been putting it off for absolutely ages, so I need to read it. This is the one that I am 100% guaranteed reading for this readathon, and if I don't, you have permission to yell at me in the comments. If I don't read it now, I know it's going to sit on my TBR until October next year, and it just can't happen. And then the last reading prompt is read a short book, and again, short is ambiguous. It's kind of like it's short for you, or if you end up just reading one book, say for example you were in the middle of a big chunky book, you've only got half of that book left, well technically it's shorter than when it started. Just play around with the prompts as and when, if you would like to use them for the bingo board and you really want to get that bingo, do whatever it takes to do that. It's really low key. But yes, this one is a short book. I have gone for volume 6 of The Promised Neverland. As I said, absolutely love this series, and manga is a very quick short read for me. And even in terms of page count, just under 200 pages, and it's manga pages. So this is probably going to take me like an hour to read. Very excited for this series. Really want to get this one read. You know what? Looking through this TBR, I'm actually really happy with this TBR, so maybe it won't change. We'll see. Definite, 100%, we are going to be reading The Haunting of Hill House and then probably volume 5 of Promised Neverland. These two are, if I can fit them on, then I will. Honestly, yeah, like I say, I think looking at this, the only one I would change is this one, but I honestly don't know what I would be changing it to. Maybe like a short Gothic short story collection or something. I've got loads of them on the Classics TBR, so we'll see how it goes. This is the TBR. I may not be changing. I'm actually kind of in the mood for these. I genuinely make no promises when it comes to sticking to my readathon TBRs, because it really is a day that is all about relaxing and reading. And so if I'm not feeling a book, I'm not going to force myself to read it, and I will just play around with the prompts so it fits whatever I do. But okay, let's move on to the lifestyle prompt. Nice and easy. We have a hot drink / beverage of choice. That's easy for me. I drink lots of tea when it's chilly outside, which it is, so I will be having lots of hot drinks today. We also have enjoy a cozy hobby, which reading does count for that, so if all you do is read, then you can, but I also wanted to put this one in so that you don't feel guilty if you end up doing something that isn't reading during a readathon. That's fine, enjoy yourself. It could be knitting, or crocheting, or journaling, or playing a cute cozy game, or whatever you feel like. I don't actually know. I've been really in the mood to like do some drawing, things like that, so it might be a bit of Animal Crossing, it might end up being drawing, I'm not sure, but I have used this prompt in the past to do some baking. Honestly, again, it's just kind of that this is your reminder that you don't have to sit down and read all day if you don't want to, and you're still taking part in the essence of the readathon. I hope that makes sense. I'm sure it does. I over explain. And then we go outside. Now this can be as simple as you're just going to sit in your back garden and reading a book, just sitting outside chilling. It could be actually going outside for a walk, or if it's a particularly drizzly, not great, nice weather day out and you don't want to go outside, then just crack open a window. Technically, you have allowed the outside to come in, sort of. Honestly, that's the one that I end up doing the worst with, is actually going outside. I'm really bad for when I'm having a day off. Unless I've got something planned, I tend not to leave the house. I'm very much a hermit, so we'll see. I don't need to go outside. Like, there's nothing I need to do. Normally, I would say something like, I need to go pick up something from the shop or something like that to get me out the house, but I don't technically need to do anything. I do kind of feel like going for a little walk in the local park, but it also looks like it's going to pour it down with rain. So we'll see whether I actually get to that one. That is the one I get to the least. And then the very last one is light a candle or play some music. Basically just set yourself up a nice ambiance for your reading day, and for me that is generally candle and then an ambiance room, which is lovely. And I've recently got a projector, so I think I'm gonna hook it up to my laptop and have the ambiance room on my wall. Oh, I think the vibes of that, I found one that I really like. It's got like some nice jazz music with a fireplace and everything, and oh, the vibes are unreal. So I think actually, you know what, that's what we're gonna do first. Let's go set up that projector, we're gonna do a nice hot drink, and then we're gonna get to reading, and I'm just excited for this day. But I have waffled on quite a lot for this intro, I do apologise, but that's everything that's happening in this day. I hope you enjoy it. Let me know if you took part and what you ended up reading. I do have a Discord channel that I am updating live with what I get up to and what I'm reading and stuff, and we have a few people that are all taking part today, so if you ever want to join in and be a part of all of that, Discord is always linked below for you. But okay, I am going to stop waffling. Let's do that hot drink and set everything up for a really nice reading day. had a really slow start to the readathon, which I don't really mind, but I realised I didn't actually say when this readathon had started. It started at about 9 o'clock in the morning is when I started filming for the intro. However, by the time I had finished faffing around, getting everything set up with the projector, which took me a little bit longer than I thought it would, and then had breakfast and everything, I didn't sit down to reading till about 10:15 in the morning. So normally what I would do is do my readathons from the time I start recording, which was 9, and then go till 9 o'clock tomorrow morning. However, I'm thinking of extending it to 10 in the morning, just because I feel like that would be a better time for me, because I didn't technically start reading till then. Also, I did forget to say I sleep during this. Like I say, this is for just like self-care, relaxation. It's not for trying to read as much as I can during 24 hours. It's just basically just a day chilling out, relaxing, but I make sure I stop 24 hours later. But yeah, really slow start. I have started The Haunting of Hill House, and I read the first chapter and then went back through and annotated it because I was enjoying it, and then have since continued. I'm now up to chapter 3, page 68, and what I like within each chapter is there's like sub-chapters within each chapter, which I really like. Is making it feel really quick reading. But I don't know, I'm also taking my time with this, like considering the time is now 12:15 and I started reading 2 hours ago. Only having read 68 pages is very slow for me. Normally it would be double that. I mean, yes, I did take some time to like have a call with my partner and stuff, so you know, I haven't been reading the whole 2 hours, but I definitely need to get a wiggle on. Otherwise, this book will be the only thing that I read, which is absolutely fine, but I would like to at least get to some of the other stuff. But I'm liking this so far. I have 3 different tabs going. We have dark red for things that are a little bit sinister feeling and tone. We've got this kind of mustardy yellow for quotes that I really like, and then we're going for like this darker blue for really beautiful descriptions, because I really am enjoying the descriptions. At the start of each chapter there is just a beautiful description, and it was at the start of the second chapter that I read it and I was like, yeah, I have to annotate this. I'm really liking it. It's been the first time that I've annotated a book in a while, actually. I just think the writing in this is beautiful. The other book I read by Shirley Jackson, actually I've read 2. I've read their short story Lottery, and I've also read We Have Always Lived in the Castle. So far I am much preferring this to the others that I have read. I feel like the atmosphere is hitting it straight from the start, which I really appreciate. So in this we have a few different characters that we get the perspective of, but the main character we're following is Eleanor, and Eleanor been invited to Hill House by this doctor. She's never met this doctor before, and the very first bit you get is his perspective of him putting together this group of people to come to Hill House, see what kind of spooky supernatural things may happen, and you get like the perspective of each of them, a little bit about each of them. But the main bit is Eleanor, and we're seeing her journey to Hill House, and we're really getting to know her, really getting to understand that she has quite a whimsical imagination, that she has felt very stifled most of her life, that she hasn't really been able to stretch her wings and do the things that she wants for herself. Instead, she's had to look after her very sick mother and be there for her sister and things, so she's not really lived for herself, and this is the first time she's doing something for herself against the wishes of her family in going to Hill House. And we are at this bit where we've just had everyone arrive at Hill House and been introduced to everybody, like they've introduced themselves, etc., and they're like, what are we doing here, and wanting to know. And the doctor that's brought them all together is like, I don't want to tell you at night because you can't get away at night. I would rather do it in the morning where you have a chance of leaving if you wanted to. Except of course they are pressuring him and they're like, no, we want to know, and that's where I've left it. So I think the next bit that's going to go on will be finding out exactly what they're trying to have happen during the time that they're at Hill House. But I'm really liking it. Everything about the building and stuff is seeming really foreboding. It's mentioned quite a few times, it's like an evil presence, and it's even mentioned a sentence in here saying you can't exorcise a house. Exorcisms for like evil spirits and stuff, you can't do that to a house. So I'm really intrigued. I'm really liking this so far, actually. I just think the vibes of it are there straight from the start. This is the sort of thing I wanted from We Have Always Lived in the Castle, which I did like that book, but it just wasn't anywhere near as eerie and gothic as I thought it was going to be, whereas this is hitting it straight from the start and being that little bit more gothic feeling, which I'm really happy with. But I think for now I'm actually going to make some soup. I want to make some tomato soup for the first time, and then we'll get back to reading some more of this, and hopefully I can read at a bit of a better pace than what I've been doing. I mean, it's one of those things, like, am I going to force myself to rush read? Definitely not. I don't like doing that. I'm very happy to take my time and really immerse myself in this book, but I also would like to actually finish this for the readathon and also get in something else. I am kind of feeling a bit mood ready in a way, so I might end up just reading this and then changing from the other stuff. I don't know. I know I literally said this at the start of this where I was like, oh, actually I really like the sound of all of these books. I think it's going to be a really good TBR, and I do, but I also, I don't know, I kind of want a short story collection to go alongside this. That's what I'm feeling. So you know what, I think we're gonna make the soup, and then I've got a few Gothic short story collections, so I might bring out one of those, because I've been thinking about that the last few days, because I really like having a short story collection on the go, and I've been thinking about what is my next short story collection going to be. I've already got one on the go, which is a murder mystery collection by Agatha Christie, really enjoying that, and I think the next one overall for like months will be the final seasonal Christie collection, which I need to get, which is the winter one. But I also would really like to read some of the Gothic ones that I've got, so maybe we'll do that instead of tackling the other stuff. Maybe do like one manga and then a short story collection. I don't know. I'm indecisive, but what I do know is that I am going to continue with this, and I'm really liking it, and I'm so excited to be annotating again. It's been such a long time. I've been thinking about getting back into it, but this is the book that has done it, and I just think because the writing is so gorgeous. You know, the writing really is just a style that I really like. It's very decadent and haunting, and I really like it. So yeah. Okay, right, let's do that soup. Let's do few hours. I feel like it's getting on for 5 o'clock. Around that time, my phone is in the front room and I can't bother to go get it. But I've made some really good progress with The Haunting of Hill House. I'm now up to chapter 7, page 179. And I think I've got about 60-ish pages left to go of this book. Oh no, a bit more. 70 pages. And I'm really engrossed. I'm really enjoying it. I'm enjoying all of the extra like horror elements that are being added to this book. I like the fact that we're seeing Eleanor slowly have all of these really dark, intrusive thoughts and just slowly changing who she is, or maybe like we're seeing the true side of her. I'm not sure. I suppose it could be taken in both ways, but I'm really enjoying this. Like, I'm enjoying how dark it is. I like the fact that we'll have something dark happen and then they're trying to laugh it off and be like, oh, yeah, it was fine. It's not as bad as what we thought at the time. But as a reader, you're like, oh no, this is wrong. Like, these things that are happening, it's not good. You should be getting out of there. I'm really liking it. I'm really, really enjoying it. This is so much better than what I thought it was going to be, because I did put myself a little bit reserved for this book, especially after reading We Have Always Lived in the Castle, and that just not hitting the way I wanted it to. But this book is exceeding that, and I'm enjoying this so much more than that. I genuinely think this is really good. I like how much it's doing. I like seeing the different things that have inspired other books, and just how this haunted house is being so well done. Like, it really does feel like the house itself is a character within this book, which I really am enjoying. So yeah, this is really good. I'm really liking it, and I do plan on finishing this up. I was really tempted just to sit there and keep reading and finish it all off, but I wanted to do the update because I am really liking it. I'm liking the sinister turn it's taken. I like the fact that we started off with Eleanor and one of the other ladies that are there, Theodore, kind of seeming like almost childish friends, being a bit silly with one another, and you know, they're meant to be in their 30s, but you know, age is just a number and you can be childish and silly in any age. But like, seeing how they were very like playful and like, oh, let's go for a picnic, and oh, let's, you know, do all these different things together, but then slowly how that relationship is changing as well. And I like that. I like seeing how the longer they're in the house, the more these things are taking more of a sinister tone, not just with what's happening in the house, but also with their relations to one another. And I really like that. I think it's good. It's really interesting. I like the characterization. I like the way the descriptions are being done. This is definitely a book that I can go, yes, I really like this. Like, this is a book that I would reread, whereas We Have Always Lived in the Castle, I'm a bit on the fence of. I can understand what it was doing. I can understand why so many people liked it, but for me, it just didn't quite land. Whereas this is really working. I'm really enjoying it. I'm very curious to see how it's going to end and what's going to happen with it all, because I'm not sure. Because even the horror elements, there's nothing too in your face scary, but it's just that eerie sense of unease that's throughout this book that I'm really enjoying. And even with some of the more scary things that are happening, it's not too scary, it's unsettling, and that's what I'm really liking about this. So yeah, this is really good. Definitely put it off for longer than I should have, because I'm really enjoying this. But I also feel like if I'd read this one first and then I read We Have Always Lived in the Castle, I think I would have been disappointed by that book. Whereas doing it this way round, I'm actually really appreciating this book that much more, which is really interesting to think about. But yeah, I'm liking that. I did actually take a stop when I got to, I think it was like page 110 or something. I stopped at a chapter and I did actually pick up the short story collection. Like I mentioned, that actually I kind of feel like doing that because I'm really enjoying the Gothic story and would like to continue reading more Gothic leaning work for this day. Except I did not really enjoy this. I read the first like 35 pages and this book is very interesting. I picked this one up because, I mean, it's Irish Gothic fairy tales and it's from 32 counties of Ireland, and at the start of each bit you will get information about a different county. So like, for example, you'll get a little bit here, you'll get like their sigil and everything, and then what follows is the story that these authors heard or come across during that time. And you have like different images throughout it, which, you know, I mean, it's a beautiful collection. It kind of goes almost non-fiction because you're learning about the different counties and provinces in Ireland, which I really like, plus these tales that have originated from that area. So the concept of this I really like. However, the writing style of it I'm really not liking. And even when it comes to the actual tale, and those are the bits that I'm the most interested in, like there was one that was like, oh, this inspired Dracula, or is said to have inspired Bram Stoker in writing Dracula. I just found that the style of the writing I couldn't get into. Some of the stories they have kind of rewritten slightly, and it's like, I don't know, I just think it's a mixture of the formatting of the book, because like I say, you get that information about the county and then you get the story, but it's not really clear when the story's starting, which feels weird to say, but it's not, because you'll get a little bit of, we were talking to this person and this person was telling us a story that they heard from, say, their grandfather or their great-grandfather or something like that, and then they'll just go straight into the story. And I feel like it would have been better to have been done the other way around, like have the information about the county, then have the title of this Gothic story, have the story, and then at the end having this story came from this person or something. I feel like for me that would have flowed a lot better, and I wouldn't be so confused with trying to get into the story. I did not know when it was starting because the writing style doesn't differ, and that's the problem. Like, there is no clear distinction in writing style to show, oh okay, we're at the start of a story. Here, for example, this is a good one. So you've got like your bit about the county. In this one it's Kilkenny, which I'm probably mispronouncing, I do apologise. And then we have the Banshee welcoming party, and you would think, okay, so it's going to stop here, like start. But it doesn't. Instead it goes, we found this story, and they go on about where they found it and what the story is about and everything. And then in this paragraph it goes on about how everybody's heard of the Banshee, a female fairy of Ireland, all of these different things. And then it goes, here is the story that has been told to me. And then this bit goes, then it goes straight into the story. But like, there's no distinction here. It's not like this is done as an introduction and then we're going to have, and then the story. The way this is written is the same as if it's been written with all this prior information, so there's no clear distinction between the storyline. It's a shame, because I feel like it's a combination of the formatting and the writing style, and because the stories themselves do not feel different. Like, you would think, considering these are all short little stories, I think each story's been about 2 to 3 pages long, that they would then have their own rhythm to them and their own feeling because they're being told by different people. But instead it's almost like every single one of them's been rewritten by the authors so that it fits their narrative, but then as a result it doesn't feel different. So like, normally in a short story collection, like an anthology, each story feels different because of the different authors. This, I mean, yes, it's collected by the same people, but like, it doesn't feel like a tale that's been brought down in generations. It doesn't have the same rhythm to it. It doesn't have that individuality between the different tales. It just sounds the same, and it's just something about it that I'm not gelling with, which is such a shame, because I was so interested in this book because I have Irish roots and I also have Scottish roots, and I really wanted to get a collection of Irish Gothic stories and Scottish Gothic stories. This just isn't working for me, and you know, it's not because I'm not interested, because I really am. I do really want to learn more about the tales from Ireland at the time, and just like these different Gothic tales and different tellings of the different like fairy stories or like wee folk. I really want to learn about that, but this just isn't the collection for me that's doing that. Like, it is helpful for like the different counties, but that's not what I'm wanting. I'm wanting the stories more, and the stories do not feel like they're distinct enough to remember. I'm really sad about it because I really wanted to love this, but it's just not working, unfortunately. So this is a DNF. I am intrigued by them, and I might like see if there's other fairy tale collections that I can just get on with the writing a little bit better. I don't know, the few that I did try to read, they just didn't. I've been trying to explain it. You can tell I'm struggling to explain it, but it's such a shame. It is such a shame about that book. I mean, I like all the little artwork and everything in it. I like flicking through this book and just seeing things, and I like the different stories about it and the way that's been passed through generations. Like, I love the concept of this book so much. It's just not working, which is such a shame. So if you have any recommendations on things like for Irish folklore and Scottish folklore and stuff, do let me know, but unfortunately this isn't one that worked for me. I did try flicking through it. I know I said I only read like the first 34 pages, like as in I read the first 34 pages like properly, and then I started flicking through to see, okay, let me try this story and see, but I was encountering the same problem every single time. But hey, I tried. So yeah, that's the only reading updates. I haven't read loads. I definitely want to, well, I feel like I've read a good chunk of this one, which I really enjoyed. I am going to be finishing this. I'm planning to have a bath this evening, so I think I'm going to finish it then. So that leaves me with a few hours before I have my bath. I don't know, I might have it sooner, who knows, to just kind of do whatever I want. I'm thinking this is actually a really good point to check in with all the lifestyle prompts. I should have done this earlier, because in the first section of B-roll I actually ticked off 2 of the prompts straight away, which was great, which was, one was making a hot drink. Obviously I've made 2 hot drinks now. It's been great, so that's definitely ticked off. We've also ticked off setting the mood, kind of like lighting a candle, listening to music, etc., because as you saw, had my jazz. It was a jazz one that I did. Love it so much. And then the candles and everything. 2 lifestyle prompts done. Now going outside, I should really do, like this evening has actually got a little bit nicer outside, so I could definitely go for a walk. I just don't know if I can be bothered. Like I said earlier, like I am such a problem when it comes to days like this. Like if I don't need to go out to get something or to like meet someone or something, then I'm very happy to just stay inside. Feeling like I should go for at least a little walk, because I know I'm not going to leave the house tomorrow, because that's an editing day, because I'll be editing this video, so I should probably leave the house, even if it's just for like a 15-minute walk. Damn it, my own readathon keeping me accountable. And then the other one, the cozy hobby, and as we know, I have been reading, so that works for that. I made the soup. It was my first time doing tomato soup. I liked it. I thought the flavour was really nice, but it came out a lot more watery than what I'm used to. Like I've done 2 others. I've done butternut squash and parsnip, and I've also done a pumpkin one, and I think that came out thicker just because the vegetables themselves are going to end up as thicker, whereas tomatoes, they're very water based. So I don't know, I'm going to work on seeing what I can do to kind of thicken that up a bit. Technically I could count that as a cozy hobby, but I am thinking it would be nice to either play Animal Crossing, because I haven't done that in a little while, and it would be nice just to go around, do my little daily chores and stuff, and maybe work on a little bit more of my island. I do this all the time. I get an idea of how I want my island to be, so then I start playing it loads, and then I get stuck to a point where I'm like, okay, well now I've just got to wait for items, I've got to wait for all these different things, so I can't really do much more, and then I stop playing it as much, even though I think to myself, oh, I'd really like to. I then just don't do it, because I'm like, well, I need to get all of this stuff, and then I just procrastinate. So I might do that. I might do a bit of drawing or something. I'm not sure. We'll see where the feeling goes, but I think the next thing I should do is probably go out for that walk, and then I should come back feeling a bit more refreshed, and then I can decide what I want to do. As it comes to reading prompts, I haven't actually done a reading prompt yet, because I haven't finished a book yet. I mean, I can do the continuing a book I'm currently reading. I have been doing that. I could give myself that one, but the other ones I haven't finished a book yet, so I can't tick anything off. But that's where we're at. This was a very rambly update. This is definitely a sign for me to just go outside, get a bit of fresh air, and then come back and decide what I want. Also work up an appetite for dinner, because I'm not feeling that hungry. Sod it. Come on, let's go out for a walk, which obviously you're coming with me, because if I don't film it, then I know I'm not going to bother going. So if I tell myself I've got to for the video, I'll get out there. This is why I put the go outside prompt. Like, it was not for anybody else, it was for me, because I'm so bad at getting out the house. When I have my 5 days off in a row, it's very much like I will sit in my house for 5 days and not leave unless I have to go out. You know, it's not the healthiest. I do work outside the rest of the time, so I feel like I balance it. Okay, right, I'm rambling because I'm procrastinating this walk. Let's just do that walk. Let's just go. morning. It has just gone 8 o'clock in the evening and I had a lovely walk. I didn't go out for too long. I think by the time I got back home it was almost an hour, which was really nice. Definitely was needed. I felt very rejuvenated after going out for a walk, so that was lovely. And I then decided to bake a pumpkin cake, which is 100% the fault of Discord, because we've all been chatting throughout the day of what everyone's been reading and things, which has been lovely. People have also been sharing other different things that they've been doing, including baking, and quite a few people were using pumpkin. I of course was just like, well, hang on a minute, that sounds absolutely delicious, and I haven't baked with pumpkin before. I've done a soup, which you're going to be seeing in a cozy reading vlog, which is not the latest one that's gone out. It'll be the one that comes out in November, and I really liked that. So this will be my first time actually doing it in a dessert, and I'm very excited for it. It's all cooked or baked. I'm waiting for it to cool down because I also found a recipe for like a cream cheese frosting, which will be nice to go on top. The plan is after this update I'm going to go relax in my bath and then we'll do the cream cheese frosting, and by that point the cake should be ready to eat and I'll have a little slice of it with a cup of tea this evening, I think is the plan. So yeah, so I was doing all of that and honestly it was great. I absolutely loved it. I'm going to count the baking as my cozy hobby because I don't know if I'm going to get time for Animal Crossing. I might do. If I finish my book early enough, I might chill out and play Animal Crossing for an hour before bed, but we'll see. Because I did just read The Promised Neverland, Volume 5, and oh my god, it's so good. I love this series so much. So I really do appreciate that you do get like a little recap at the start. It's awkward because I don't want to give away like spoilers and things, but like you get a little recap at the bottom there and little like characters and what's happened with the characters and things. And then obviously the story is continuing on, and oh, I really, really like this. I actually think this is my favorite manga that I have read. So I definitely want to collect all the volumes. I know it's a larger series, but at the minute I'm enjoying it so much. So I may end up reading volume 5 as well. No, I just read volume 5. Volume 6. I may still do that because I love this series so freaking much. I love what these kids have to do and what they have to go through and all the puzzles and things that they've got to try and figure out. And honestly, what they're going through, like this situation is so deadly, but it's so good. It's so intense. There's always something happening. There is never a break. None of your characters are safe. I really do enjoy this series, and I actually think it does still work for the theme of this readathon, which is reading slightly darker, spookier books for Halloween, because that is what I wanted this to be, and it still works for that. Definitely just because of the content that's happening in here, so I think it still works amazingly well. But like I say, the plan is to have a bath and read some of Haunting of Hill House and probably just finish it up this evening before I go to bed, because like I say, only 70 pages left. Looking forward to reading this and finishing it up. I think it's going to be great. I may read volume 6 today. We'll see. My partner's coming over and he's up early for work tomorrow, so I might just stay up with him and then get in a few more hours of reading time in the morning, so we might be able to squeeze in a few other things. But I did also come home to some book mail, and I do believe I know who this is from because they messaged me to let me know that they were getting me something. But I came home from my walk and this was waiting for me, which was lovely. There's no gift note. Oh, how frustrating. But yes, I do believe this is from Janice. So thank you so much, because she did let me know she was sending me something, and oh, I'm really excited for this. This is The Hojin Murders by Seisho Yokomoshi. I'm probably mispronouncing that. I really do apologize. But this one is, I think it's a Japanese. Yes. Seisho was one of Japan's most famous and best loved mystery writers. I'm really, really excited. This one has been translated by Louise Hill Kawai, and I can't wait. So very excited. This is a Japanese mystery. I've been really intrigued to try some of the Japanese mysteries because I haven't read any of them. If I like it, there's a whole list of other ones by the same author, and this isn't even long. This is quite short. It's less than 200 pages. Well, that's really good. Oh, I'm tempted to like start this now as well. But no, we'll be smart, finish this first, and then we'll decide from there what I'm gonna do. I don't think I would even be able to finish this in the morning time before I wrap up this, because obviously I'm wrapping this up at 10 o'clock in the morning. That's what we agreed, or well, I agreed. I think my partner's up at about 6, so I'll probably get 3 hours reading time in the morning. I would say is enough for this. However, I do find that me reading in the morning, I tend to not read loads of a morning time. I'm definitely more of an afternoon, evening reading person, just because in the morning I like to get things done. I'm always distracted of, oh, I can do this or I can do that, and by the time I sit down to read him, I haven't read much. And even when I do sit down to read, I normally get a bit distracted thinking about the different things I need to do or things like this. So I don't know. I think I'll probably save this, but I'm really excited. This sounds really good. It is in the winter. Ooh, this is going straight onto my winter TBR. Okay, so in the winter of 1937, the village of Okamoru is abuzz with excitement over the forthcoming Ishigami wedding. But amid the gossip, there is also a worrying rumour. It seems a sinister masked man has been asking questions around the village. Then the night before the wedding, the Ishigami household are awoken by a terrible scream, followed by the sound of eerie music. Death has come to Okamoru, leaving no trace but a bloody samurai sword thrust into the pristine snow outside the house. Soon, amateur detective Kosuke is on the scene to investigate what will become a legendary murder case. But can this scruffy sleuth solve a seemingly impossible crime? That sounds absolutely amazing. Straight onto my winter TBR. I cannot wait to read this. So yeah, thank you so much, Denise. I really, really appreciate it. You truly didn't have to, and I know I've already said this to you in a message, but genuinely, thank you so much. I really can't wait to read this. I'm definitely going to put a little post-it note in here, because normally I would stick in the gift notes, but obviously I didn't get one, so I will be putting in a note in here so that it's noted from you. And thank you so much. But yeah, okay, right, let's go have that bath and finish The Haunting of Hill House. I feel like I can read this one like while it's dark. Normally I can't read horror books when it's too late, but my partner's coming over later, so that will help. And also, while this book, as I've been saying, is like unsettling, it's not horrifying for me. So yeah. Wait, before I go, let's update the bingo board, because I did finish a book, so I can tick off a few things. Updated from where we left off, I am going to tick off Cozy Hobby with the bacon, so that is done, and we went outside. I did all the lifestyle prompts. I am so impressed with myself, because honestly it takes a lot for me to go outside on a day when I don't need to go outside, as I've been saying. And with reading volume 5 of Promised Neverland, we did continue a series. We did read a book of my TBR, and it was a short book, and technically I'm pretty sure I could get away with a book I've been wanting to read for a while, because I love this series and have been wanting to continue on for quite a while. So with just this one book, we have completed the bingo board, and I am so happy with that. I mean, it's still going to carry on. I will still be finishing off this book and stuff, but we completed the bingo board, very happy with it all. And okay, now I'm going to go have that bath. Good morning. It is 10 to 10 in the morning, which means it's time to wrap up this readathon. And okay, I didn't read loads past what I said. I did finish The Haunting of Hill House and I really enjoyed this. This was a really good book. I actually really liked the ending as well, and I had a great time annotating this one. It was really good, really eerie and chilling, and like I say, it's not like horror in the sense of like it's terrifying, but it is unsettling, and I really liked it. I thought it was a great read, definitely one that I would reread, and like I say, it is my favourite Shirley Jackson book, so I'm really pleased I actually read it. It took me such a long time. I really did love this, and I do think October was a great time to read this book, or even I think going into like November would be good as well, but definitely like one of those colder, chillier months just to really amp up the atmosphere. I liked it. I thought it was a very good book, really good writing in that. And then this morning, honestly, I was a bit lazy. I didn't get up when my partner left for work. I was kind of like dozing on and off and stuff, and by the time I did get up, I didn't really have that long to read something else. So instead, I decided just to read a little short story from this collection, which is a murder mystery collection by Agatha Christie. This one was gifted to me by Jane. This is my short story collection that I've got on the go this season, and I decided to read the shortest short story, which was While the Light Lasts, which was only literally a 10-page story, and it was good, but it wasn't like the typical Agatha Christie mystery at all. It was very different. It was just this short story about this woman who is married to this man who's very well off. They're going out to see this tobacco farm, but she was married before, and it was definitely a marriage of passion and love, but it didn't last long because the man died in the war. And it's just kind of like this weird little tale, and it has a bit of a weird ending, but I couldn't really tell you exactly what going on. I don't know whether it's just because I missed something, or you know, it was good, but it definitely wasn't like a murder mystery. So I think that's probably been, I mean, I've only read 2 from this short story collection, but that's my least favourite so far. And like I say, there wasn't any of the typical mystery elements that I associate with Agatha Christie. It was just a random little short story. It was still good. It was still a decent read with breakfast, so it was fine. But yeah, that's it. I didn't read anything else. I had initially planned to read volume 6 this morning, but I just never got round to it. I didn't really have enough time for it with getting ready and everything, so decided to leave that. And I also, as we know, didn't get round to Mislaid in Parts Half Known, although, you know, as much as I did say at the start of this, oh, I love this TBR, and I do, I also knew that this was probably the least likely one I'd get to, because in the end, I just had a really chill, lazy day. I spent the time doing lots of different cooking, like soup and baking, and it was a really nice, relaxing day. It took me longer than it normally would to read this. Like, if I'd just been sat there and hyper-focused on the reading, I would have got this done a lot earlier and probably could have finished Mislaid in Parts Half Known, or like read it. I really enjoyed my day. I really enjoyed taking it slow, and every so often, like, as much as I do these readathons, and the goal for me is definitely let's try and get some books off my TBR, because my TBR is massive, but at the same time it is also that take a day to relax and chill, and I really did do that yesterday. Like, I really took my time reading this, really enjoyed it, took my time doing other things, like gave myself the time to bake a cake randomly, and you know, all these other little things that I really enjoyed doing. So I'm not overly bothered that I actually only finished 2 books yesterday. Promised Neverland Volume 5, absolutely amazing. I love this series so much. I think volume 6 is the last one that I own physically, so I definitely need to go out and get the others. I love this series so much, and I know once I read volume 6 I'm going to want to go straight into it. Like, that's exactly how I felt after finishing this, was I want to read volume 6 straight away because it was so good. Didn't actually end up happening, just timing wise, but these 2 were fantastic. A little short story of breakfast. This was fine, not my favourite, but it was fine. So that is what we all got read, and then of course we have the DNF, which is unfortunate, and I'm still kind of sad about this one because it on paper should be everything that I wanted it to be. It just didn't work with me in that writing style, so that's such a shame, but never mind, things like that happen. And then yeah, as we know, I did actually complete the bingo board. Really pleased with that, and honestly just overall had a perfect relaxing day, which was needed. So yeah, I really enjoyed this. I hope you have enjoyed watching it. I hope you've enjoyed if you did take a day to relax. I know a lot of people actually extended this over the weekend, which is so good, and honestly I would, except for the fact that I have to edit this video, so that's what I'm going to be doing today, is focusing and getting all my editing done. But yeah, I really enjoyed this. These are always so needed for me, like every 2 months, just to relax and have a day where I just chill out and read and don't feel bad if I end up having a lazy day where I don't read much, or I spend the day doing something that's not associated to reading or something like that. that like it's really, really needed. So I hope even if you didn't take part in this readathon that you at least take this as a reminder to do a little bit of self-care every so often, because it is so important. I am going to leave it there, so thank you so much for watching. I hope you have enjoyed. Also, pumpkin cake was freaking amazing. I really enjoyed that. I've never, as I already said, I've never made a pumpkin cake. I don't think I've ever had a pumpkin cake before, and it was so good. So thank you to everyone on Discord that influenced that, because wow, that was amazing. And the cream cheese frosting, I made way too much of it, but that was very tasty as well. So that was a win. I had a really nice food day yesterday, I'm not gonna lie. It is time for me to go, so thank you so much for watching and taking the time to watch these videos. Whether you're a silent watcher or not, like genuinely it means so much, so thank you. If you have made it this far, you just want to let me know that you are here, then you can always leave a... Ooh, we're gonna have to do a ghost emoji or a house, or both, for the haunting of Hill House, because I really liked the ending of this. I really thought it was very good. I really liked the way Eleanor and the way that all developed. Like, that was good. I really enjoyed this. Good book. I promise I am actually gonna go, so thank you so much for watching. If you have enjoyed this video, then please do consider giving it that thumbs up, subscribing and commenting. Those 3 things really help this channel out. My social media links and anyone I've mentioned will be linked below for you, and I will of course catch you in the very next video.